And we are live. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Brage. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm really good, really good. Yes.
Yeah.
Like my new background?
Yes. Is that a filter? Is that some kind of Snapchat thing?
It is. It's the San Francisco filter, the Tana office in SF filter.
All right. That's what's happening. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Have you moved over?
No, just here for the week, here to work with Olav on some of the stuff with the community. So,
Ye-
yeah, clearly community very central to what we do and a bit of a chance to take stock and think about what happens next. So really important.
Awesome. And I think I see all of in the reflection of one of your posters, a teaser for what to come, what's to come, maybe. All
Yeah.
right. So, jokes aside, what are we doing today, Matt?
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, we're going to do a quick overview with Olav. Who's going to step out of the shadows very soon and talk about what happened with launch and so forth, what's been up to from here. And also then we're going to talk about our product process and some of the new things we're working on with Askia, as well as Ardix going to come in and give an update on offline. Who else? We've got Theo coming in, who's going to talk
The year's
a
coming.
little about templates as well and some of the ideas and new things we've got coming out about that. And then finally finish off with a few things from the community. I want to talk about all the cool stuff that's been happening over the last month or since last office hours, as well as might bring in Andrew too to talk a little bit about agents and some of the things that he's doing. So pretty jam-packed for
Yes.
today's episode.
That sounds awesome. All right, I can see all of us chomping at the bit there in the reflection. So let's just
It's like a menacing in
all
the
right, let's
thing.
just bring him on stage.
Yes. All right, Olav, where are you?
Yes, I'm here. We got stuff to do. All right, hello, everyone. Oh my God, you're tall, man. I need to get this chair up. How are we, Brage?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Let's see. Do we have my stuff here? Yes. How do I share stuff in this?
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, just there we go. Like this one there. Let's see if I can do this in a good way. Do you need to give me access, maybe?
This is just
Yes.
my screen, Braga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it correct? Yeah, I'll share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
Yay.
Product of the day, the week, the month, artificial intelligent product of the month. I think so. Just to comment on the launch, we had a couple of goals. We have some stuff that you might want to call vanity metrics, but they're not. One of those was really doing a splash on Product Hunt. And why is that important? Well, it's a place where a lot of users of ours and people we respect hang out. There's people there that knows everything about every product that's getting launched these days. And we had high hopes of at least getting product of the day. And I think just being able to see the engagement that's there in that channel was freaking amazing. And I do think that I know some people think it's a vanity metrics, but it's not, right? It's when you go in there and you see the comments. Like I do that almost every day now. Like just to give me a proper boost for the day. We broke Product Hunt's comment section, which is not something every product does. So I'm actually less like proud of the amount of voices. Of course, we need that to become the product of the month. But just reading the insanely good comments and seeing like for the people of Grok Tana, how it actually changes their lives and their workflows and whatnot. That's just insanely good. So I think that is yeah, I'm super happy about that. And I think like I said, just becoming product of the month. Like there's 12 products in the whole world that's able to do that. So I just think that is insane. Like we agree, though. We of course think we should be product of the year. That's something else. Not to be cocky, but just getting there, it was insane. And thank you so much to every user, everyone in the community. And I think what I want to convey is this is just the start. Like a lot of you have been with us for many years. We've taken our time building Tana, and Tana is different, right? Tana is different, and that's why we're succeeding, because the same as everyone else. If that was the case, why would we exist? We really believe that we need to reinvent how humans, teams, and computers work together. This is the first step. I think I've said in every update, first in the team in 21, and then after the what would you say, the stealth launch back in 22, like the power of the super tags will slowly reveal themselves. And that's why it's been quite funny when people say, what is super tags? Where they add fields to a note. Yeah, they do that as well, but it's so much more than that. And in the age of agents, I can't wait to show people where we're going. So that was one thing. And then I just want to say, like, I also think it was awesome that we actually got to be top of TechCrunch. Like, this is a vanity metric, but when I grew up, I loved two things. I loved building computers and playing guitar in a rock band, in an AC/DC rock band. Important. And I had like two dreams. Like, I either want to be on the cover of TechCrunch or the cover of the Rolling Stones. I don't know which one's harder, but it just feels so cool that we got to this vanity metric and actually headed up TechCrunch the same day as OpenAI unveiled the deep research model. So yeah, vanity metrics wise, this this is cool. Motivational wise, I think Product Hunt is just freaking awesome. Seeing the amount of users coming in, people sharing, like people that never heard about Tana now sharing, like first many of them saying, what is this thing? And then say like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah, that's what makes us get up early in the mornings and go to bed with a huge smile. So I think
Yeah. I was just going to ask, how was the motivation of the team in your estimation when they saw the response after the launch?
I think it was amazing, and I think it's a verification for us on what we're building, and it's a justification to all of the hours we've put on. I think we always say that ordinary efforts leads to ordinary results. Extraordinary efforts leads to extraordinary results, and it's hard to have an extraordinary effort over like 3 or 4 years, but that's what the team has done. We've taken our time, and I think that's been right. And yeah, it's been just freaking amazing. So kudos to the team. Like yeah, I wouldn't have dreamt when we started that we would have a team like we have. It's insane.
Yeah,
And the
amazing.
community, always the community. So cheers to every Tenarian that's been helping out. Yeah.
So Oscar is going to come in a second and talk a bit about product, process, and the things that we've changed post-launch. Do you want to say something about that? About the things that have changed after with the launch from the learnings that we have?
Yeah, I think there's a. Do you want me to say a couple of words on the shape up or no? Is that what you do? Or
no, we can save that for Oscar. I just want to like generally, are there any learnings after the launch that you think changed the way we work? Anything you think is worth mentioning? We could skip it.
I think what's changed is that we have a lot of more users. We know more what works, what doesn't work. We know what we need to work on. We know that we need to still keep working on the learning curve, like doubling down on our innovations, but see what we can do with like conventions. Like what conventions do we have that we don't need to innovate on? Oh yeah, I can actually see Matt trolling. Yeah, I can see that in the poster. So that's one of the things we're working on. I also think that changing the way we work to be able to do have a higher velocity, focus periods where we really can double down and build great things and actually release great things, not only like taking something to 70 or 80% and then releasing it. I think that's one of the things that we're changing. And I guess Oscar will talk a bit more about that. So I'm not going to steal his thunder. But I think that's the biggest thing, I think, is how we work, and that we're working in 6 weeks I don't know if you want to call them sprints of focuses now, but I think that's one of the biggest things. And I also think that choosing the verticals where we really, really want to win, like Tana is a horizontal product, and that's important. We really believe that that's what the world needs. That being said, it's super hard to choose which verticals you want to win in, because we have so many amazing users. We have a community of PCAMs and of researchers and of managers and of founders and CEOs. So you really, really need to try to listen and say, like, hey, what's the one use case that they share? What's the one vertical where we say, you know what, we're just going to own this? And I think Doug and the team are working on that, but I don't think I'm going to reveal what that is yet.
No, let's keep our cards close to our chest.
Maybe Oscar will. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Olav. Anything else you want to say?
I can just stay there, Matt. You can go for a walk or something. That's good. Yeah. No. Just thank you to everyone that helped us with this amazing launch. And yeah, we're working on growth loops as well. And I think if you have any ideas or you wanna help us with that, just ping us in the community on Slack or send us emails or whatever. Like we always or write it into ideas.tana.inc. Actually, we always wanna get great ideas from our users.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Olav. Great to hear, and yeah, still riding high riding the high from the launch, definitely. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Brage.
Back again.
Stayed out of the shadows for that one, but hey, do you have your product hunt? What is it, like a sign symbol?
the Easter egg in the background for future videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's always out of focus. You don't see it normally, but I do have like a small token or reminder of the launch back there. Don't tell anyone.
Awesome. Yeah, like clearly meant a lot. As Olav kind of said, the most amazing thing was all the comments from the community. You know, the votes. Yes. Sometimes you think, wow, well, it could be anything, but then to see 500 plus comments. So and also the detail in the comments as well. Some of them are really thoughtful overviews of how people have used Tana and reflected on Tana over the last few years. So a big thanks to all for that. It really was a great thing to see all our community go out and support each other as well as us, which was awesome.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so let's move forwards. Let's talk about what we're doing now and the problems we're tackling. So for that, let's get the one and only Oscar into chat here.
Hello,
Oscar. How's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
New background, Oscar. You're not normally in.
I moved houses. It's quite late here, so I decided to do this from home rather than from the Oslo office. So this is my basement sort of TV room, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, office hours. I think it's officially called from now.
Evening energy, morning energy.
Okay, so yeah, as I've just quickly discussed that we've changed our product process a little. In the community, we've announced previously that we've had quarterly focus with a particular roadmap for that quarter, and we've got to a point where we're moving on to something else. So not wanting you to really dive deep into all of the structural elements of what our product process is, but perhaps just a bit of an overview about what's changed and what we're doing now.
Yeah, so like we've grown as a company and as a product in many ways. We're now about 30 people on this team, and we've after the release, we took some time to really think about how we want to organize ourselves. So we landed on a methodology similar to ShapeUp, the product process defined by the Basecamp people, 37 Signals people, which a lot of teams our size are using or have been using. We're not doing it by the book, but we've borrowed some key elements from it. Like Ola mentioned, we work in these 6-week focus cycles and then 2 weeks flex period. So the 6 weeks we try to stay as like distraction free and focused as possible. And then we spend the 2 weeks realigning, reorienting, and this gives us more frequent realignment and prioritization sessions than the sort of quarterly planning did.
Amazing. I mean, obviously in the community, we get feedback on all parts of Tana at all times, in the sense that it comes in anywhere. So the idea of you guys focusing in on a particular thing that's important for 6 weeks seems like something useful there as well.
Yeah,
So,
it's working well. It's working well. This is not going to be a permanent situation for us. It will depend on the team and the type of work we're prioritizing. But right now, this feels like the right process for us.
excellent. And we're clearly working through this as a big shift as well. So we'll have more to say about it in terms of a roadmap in the community and things like that, which we need to update. But do you have anything that you want to like say now that you're working on? What are your current projects or priorities that are front of mind?
Yeah, so I'll share a bit. I will not show anything today, though I will, I think, go out on a limb and promise things next month, towards the end of next month,
Okay.
which is when we wrap up the first of like 6-week focus window. So some of the key areas we're focusing on right now is, and I guess the one primary focus is making Tana easier to use for a mainstream audience. So we're now sort of slowly moving our way towards broader and broader markets for Tana, which is important for us as a company, and lowering the threshold for getting started in Tana is the number one priority. We're investing most of the product and design resources on this right now. So that involves making Tana feel more familiar. The key part of it, like we've been exploring a lot in this product. Some things panned out, which is why people come to Tana, but some things didn't. And the things that didn't pan out, some of those are still in the product and sort of cluttering and ruining for the things that did pan out. So that's one big area. We're sort of both conceptually streamlining Tana, but also UI streamlining and trying to get to a place where you can come in and start using it without having to read documentation or watch YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, there's a lot of inherent knowledge required of Tana up front. So it feels like that's the goal, is to reduce that or make it more familiar and obvious to people as they arrive from other places.
Yeah. So one of the key things we've been thinking hard about is how you navigate a knowledge graph. Like in the past, we've been primarily offering this tree navigation, right? You can browse your home node starting from that point and moving downwards from there. But last year, towards the end of last year, we introduced the type dimension, the super tags dimension, the super tags view. We have the time dimension. We have a location dimension that is also interesting now that we have mobile. So yeah, these are some of the things we're trying to figure out how do we put this together in a more sensible, intuitive way, where you can browse Tana in different ways than we've offered in the past.
Fantastic. And will this be, or I guess it's too early to tell, right? Yeah, I'm probably jumping to conclusions, but is this going to look like a different Tana, same elements in a different way? What can people expect?
A lot of the same, but very visible changes as well. So we're not trying to reinvent everything. We have a lot of things that work well. A lot of the concepts that people come to Tana for, we're not trying to mess with that. We're trying to take those pieces and compose them in a more streamlined way, I guess. And AI is also a part of this equation. That one interesting thing we've realized is that any improvements, or a lot of the improvements we make for people, will also improve Tana for AIs, which adds to our motivation here, I guess, seeing how important AI is becoming.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you're obviously already playing around with some of the prototypes and playing around with how this should all come together the next 6 weeks. Are you excited about it? Do you personally feel like we're hitting something that's great?
Yes, I absolutely am. And I would love to show you some of the cool stuff we're exploring, but I don't want to, because it's still not clear which parts will actually be able to ship. Tana is uniquely complex in many ways, in that there are so many bits and pieces that need to work for every change we make. So
I think I can see all of Sindre standing angrily up in the reflection there, trying to stop us from sharing anything. So
No, it's very poster. It's just
a couple of other things though. So this is the one of the big areas making Tana easier to use and easier to get into. We're also spending some time on meetings again. So we already shipped the meeting agent last year, the meeting bot, and we've gotten a lot of feedback, good and bad, about that. We know much more about this problem now. So we're taking a second stab at that problem of transcribing and processing and making sense of meetings. And I don't think I'll share any more details about that at this point.
Yeah, excellent.
And the next area that I don't think will surprise anyone is editing on mobile. As many of you know, we made available an early sort of opt-in exploration of this on iOS a while back. We are now close to doing the same on Android. If it's not already out, it might actually be. But yeah, we're now doubling down on getting to a point where both mobile apps have proper editing capabilities.
amazing.
And yeah, finally, we're doing a lot of just technical investments in down payment of tech debt, and like I mentioned, some conceptual product debt as well, in order to move faster in the future and make Tana faster and make Tana more robust. And this touches things like performance and patchy connections. And I think Eirik is going to talk a little bit more about the efforts we're making there.
100%.
Should say that these aren't the only things we're working on, but certainly they're top of mind or front of mind when we're exploring. So yeah, a long list of things to explore.
Correct.
Yeah. And I just want to add, having sneaked a peek at some of the things you're making, this isn't just kind of catching up on that or fixing things that are wrong. This, like, the things that you're making are really, really cool. I think all the Tana users, like, I don't know which of the things we're going to land on, but I think a lot of Tana users are going to be super excited to see this update.
Yeah. I hope
I can see this guy's palms sweating as he's gone. Just to touch on that though, you did say or mention the 6-week scoping, and it seems to be that's a bit of a big shift, or a shift at least, from the big bang kind of model we've had previously. We were always on way to launch, and now we're kind of past launch and maybe grown up a bit, or our processes are changing. Certainly, scoping to time seems more important as a philosophy for the team at the moment.
Yes. So part of what defines shape up is this fixed time variable scope idea, where you sort of define an appetite for the projects you start. Like, how much time are we willing to spend on this? And we've found that is a good way to think about. I mean, it's not like we haven't thought like that in the past as well, but now this methodology has given us some new tools for prioritizing and organizing work, which feels right.
Excellent. And that, I mean, we're clearly early in this process, but that'll show up in a cadence of like prototypes or releases, but potentially rather than, one every 6 months with everything.
Yeah. So it's now, well, with the six focus weeks and the 2 flex weeks indicate basically 2-month intervals.
Yeah.
So there will be significant releases towards the end of those time windows, but we are still continuously deploying smaller improvements and step by step, depending on the nature of the project.
Excellent. Awesome. And probably should also note here, perhaps not totally related, Asghar, to your work, but we've got a little bit of a new P2 bug process too. So Emmanuel working a little bit on that full time, trying to do those paper cuts and small things. So yeah, trying to attack it from both fronts feels like it's going to be exciting.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
All right. Awesome.
Thanks for coming in, Asghar. Awesome to hear. And we're going to get you back quite regularly, I think, now that we're up and running. And yeah, the office hours basement is going to be the
Better lighting in here.
It's nice. Sets the tone. You're dark. You're a genius at work in the corner.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, Oscar. Okay, so what is next, Matt?
Okay, well, let's continue the product talk and probably get to one that's been on the radar for a long time and asked a lot. For those that don't believe in the internet, I should say.
All right.
We're going to talk about offline, and Idek's going to talk about some of the stuff there.
Amazing. Hello, Edek.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
All right.
Awesome. So, yes. Have you noticed that people have asked for offline in the community?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
So yes, we know that it's a really well requested one. I flew to from Australia here on Sunday night, and really riding a lot in Tana, and then halfway through the flight at the well, actually as I joined the flight, really can't use Tana. So do you want to explain? I know you're very integral to the offline idea, and that's clearly something we've signaled a lot. Do you want to give us an update on where you're at and how it's going?
Yeah. So just a bit of a backstory first. We talked about our platform project for a while now, and that required some course adjustment at the end there, which was quite painful for the team. But we are now on a much better track. It's much easier for us to work with the architecture we set up, and it's much more flexible going forward. So this is our main objective now, that I think we are about to do the first live user on that platform tonight or tomorrow morning. And this will open up a ton of things. But when you talk about offline can mean a lot of things, right? So at one end of the spectrum, it's like, okay, you are on a flaky network, or you're going to a tunnel while you're on the subway. And the other end is, okay, you're going to spend a week or two at the cabin totally offline. And these are two very different things. So we are trying to figure out exactly what we mean by offline before we can kind of bring it as a product. And it is hard for us to solve this in a good way that will kind of satisfy all needs. So
what do you mean there? I mean, obviously a lot of needs. I think most people would think switch off the internet and make Tana work. So what are some of the challenges or the things that you're finding hard?
Yeah, so the easy thing kind of is just, okay, you switch off the internet and your data is browsable, right?
Yeah.
But then you start making changes. And if you're in a shared workspace with 20 other people also making changes, and if you have 20 people being offline for a week working on the same data, that's going to be havoc, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably the last thing that will be captured or tackled by us. But I think the first goal on this journey will be to make sure that you can access your data at any time. Yeah. Meaning that if you're on a plane from London to Sydney or whatever, your data should be there. But it's not just about your nodes, right? You would expect that all of your attachments are available as well, all your header images, which means we would need to sync not only your data, but also all attachment and file uploads you have done since the beginning of time, if everything is supposed to be totally online, which has its challenges as well. But the cool thing about the new platform we're building now is that it will essentially allow us to put the database right on your device. And we are, with the new architecture, sharing code and logic between the client and the servers. It's actually the same code that runs in both places. And this can open up for things like immediate search, because we will just use the data on your device for search instead of going over the network. It will open up for easier ways of doing like exports. We mentioned that earlier today, but there are new features there will also be very interesting for that.
Yeah.
As well as thinking a bit further, local integrations against workspaces, MCPs, stuff like that. It will open up a ton of doors. I have no idea when these things will be shipped, if at all, but this is kind of laying the groundwork for that.
Yeah.
So apart from now putting this new platform and architecture into production, we are actively investigating exactly in which order to tackle these things and how and what that would mean, because it's really important for us to build the correct building blocks for the future as well, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And this has been a journey too. When you say putting these things in place, it's certainly it's not the first step, is it? It's been a process, and we're getting like all the work from previously is accumulating to help us now too.
Yeah, it's been a really long project, and a lot of talented people have spent countless hours making this happen. So it will be very great to get this out the door and start focusing on offline. And offline is, it's like we are just as anxious as you guys to get offline, whatever that means. But at least in some sense and capability, it is a very high need for us internally as well.
Yeah, agree. And again, we're working to the 6-week process. So again, timelines are not something we want to obviously offer, but it's not a 6-month or a year thing in the future.
No, so we will not be shipping offline in 6 weeks. I can guarantee you that. We are now researching and figuring out exactly how to build this. So we are doing kind of a research and development sprint now. But at the end of that, we should be informed enough to start building these things out. And then hopefully we can start shipping bits and pieces and like smaller packages that will unlock certain things.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Arek, we'll get you back and bring you in regularly if you don't mind, just to give us updates on this.
Yeah, sure.
It's very well requested and very prominent. So awesome to hear how much of a priority it is for the team, as well as all the stuff that you've been doing to push it all forward.
Right, thanks.
Thank you so much for coming in, Erik. And speak soon.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you. Bye.
Awesome. Yeah, I think every time a team member is flying a long distance flight, this comes up in the Slack threads. Like, we need to have offline access.
Yeah, that's
so.
Right. I like how you said we've got a lot of really, really talented people working on this project, including, he didn't mention himself, but he's certainly.
Yeah, he's a part of that group for sure.
Yeah, we've got a group of geniuses who are working there.
Yeah.
So okay, awesome. Let's keep moving.
That's good. What's happening back there?
I don't know what's happening. You can't kind of see. Oh, that's written on the.
All right.
On the whiteboard. We bought a whiteboard yesterday. Or the day before. Now it's written "ship it." Just ship it.
All right. Well,
subliminal message for Eric too.
Because we'll have to take your word for it.
You just think it takes the. That's the excuse that they've got. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll keep
Great.
Keep on that. What's next, Brage?
Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some of the efforts we're making to make it easier to get started in Tana. And specifically, we're going to look at some template building that we're doing to make it easy for people to go into specific workflows. Right. So joining us now is the one and only Theo. Hello, Theo.
Hello.
Yes.
Good to see you.
As always, I'm just smiling backstage. Love watching this office hours. And then, then you're on stage. And then
you have to perform.
Right. No popcorn. We get to see you.
Yeah. Right. What do you have for us? Theo? No. We'll make this friendly.
No offline mode from me, but something very exciting as well. We're working on a Tana store, and that's coming. And Tana store will be a place to share your creations, whether that's like a single super tag, that's kind of like a single super tag application, or it's a full setup of super tags working together, or agents, or knowledge, or other stuff you come up with. So we're gonna start with a set of creations made by us, and these will be free to install into your workspace. And of course, the Tana store will kind of develop from there and grow to be much more over time.
Amazing.
Definitely.
So
it's gonna just Theo, a bit of a reflection. You guys did the starter content too. And the early stuff for new users. We know that helping users make sense of Tana and find value quickly is really important. Tana's an insanely powerful set of building blocks, but then also people want workflows and just straight into outcomes. So a good mix there. Can you talk a little bit about that? That's a big project too.
Yeah, it's like we have so many ideas for this. Like when you come into Tana, before it was a blank space where you needed to kind of build it up from the ground up yourself. And then we have the starter content now, which gives you some tags to start off with, which are simple but also super powerful at the same time. And then there's so many different users of Tana and so many different use cases and workflows that people want to do, because it is a very flexible tool. So being able to user can kind of set up and customize their workspace way easier, kind of install things based on their needs, and also detach and kind of enable and disable things as they please, will be a very cool next step to take. And I wanted to ask the audience something, actually, like both the ones watching now and the people in the future. If you have ideas for what we should build, like we have tons of them ourselves, but what we should build, what should be in the Tana store, post it in the comment section now as well in the live feed, and be creative. Like think about the things you need and the things you want, and what would give you superpowers in work, in life, in hobbies, all of that. So that's we often say templates for Tana templates because that's what we called it in the command. But templates can be so much more, right? Like I mentioned, like apps, it can be agents, it can be so much more.
Amazing. And do you want to demo for us, Theo?
Yeah, I can preview some of the things going on. Like obviously this is just a small part of it, but currently in testing we have 3 templates. Product requirement stock, it's like I said, templates have different functionalities, but this one is specifically for voice to structure. So we have some of those in the starter content too, like the daily prep, where you just talk to your phone, you have your whole day kind of scheduled with tasks extracted and all of that stuff. This is kind of the same for creating product requirements. So you can talk to your phone or also work from desktop in kind of like a chat experience. And then you finish like a few minutes later, or if you want to work on it longer, you have a very impressive PRD that you can share. And that workflow, making that seamless is like what I would think of as a superpower, at least. Like you go off a call, you just do that 5-minute voice recording where you talk about your product idea, and then you have a shareable document structured for you at the end. That's pretty incredible. So that's one of them. Simple projects is another. And then I thought I could show the OKR one, which is kind of a little bit more advanced or complex, but still super simple. Like we like to keep it simple. And OKRs, for those that don't know, is objectives and key results. And it's a goal setting framework typically used for organizations or teams, but it can also be used for small teams and individuals. So it's basically a goal setting framework. And it helps. Objectives are kind of clear, aspirational, and like still measurable, but like aspirational goals. And then you have the key results that tie into the objectives. You typically have 3 to 5 key results that are very measurable, specific metrics that you can kind of follow up on. So I just like one demo objective here. Improve my ability to coach and develop team members effectively. And you see I've already set up 2 key results, which we'll show here. And then a quick way to set, let's set it for the next quarter, so April to June. And then we currently don't have any initiatives, but we can make here, and also any tasks or projects that you connect to this objective would also show up here. And we have a nice progress bar to kind of track progress over time, and this is we did OKRs in Tana, and that progress bar is like such a cool thing, because on like set periods of time you can do reviews and you can really see what recent progress has been made and what total progress has been made. So that's really, really cool and comes very built in into Tana.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we have this little button here. So taking it one step further, you can kind of have agents work together with you on OKRs and like on your goals and that kind of stuff. And some simple things like refining the objective, like how you write the objective is very important. And you can kind of have an agent that helps you with that. Suggesting the key results. So if I click this one, see it sees the objective and it suggests 3 key results and gives you kind of an explanation for why those could be good.
Yep.
And then you can obviously, because it's Tana, it's an AI chat, you can kind of continue chatting with it and go back and forth a bit.
Awesome.
And then obviously, if you like it, you can just tag it here and it will instantly show up.
Amazing.
And then going into the key results, you can also have an agent there helping you refine the key results, helping you suggest monitoring metrics. So things that make sure that like you focus on the key result, but there could be other things that go badly when you're so focused on one thing. So like being mindful of those can be important. And then, yeah, doing reviews, that's both for the objectives and key results, but like on a regular basis, probably a good idea to check up on them, both the key results and the objectives, and having kind of an agent take you through that. So asking you questions, going back and forth, digging deeper, and so on, and then being able to just one-click generate a report based on that back and forth chat. And now we haven't chatted back and forth, but if I click that, it should create that report for me here. So there you go. This will be pretty empty now, but yeah.
I mean, this is the work of OKRs, and it takes so much time, even the wordsmithing of how to write them, in the sense that it makes a tangible difference to the impact that they can have. So I understand why people spend time on it, but it's also a lot of trial and error on that. That work. So have an agent built in and processes built in to really help you do that efficiently. Super.
Yep. So that's
yeah,
three of the many templates we want to build, of course. But as I said, I haven't seen the chat, but please, if you have ideas, if you have things that you think about in your work, in your life, in your hobbies that would just like be a superpower, like that's the things we want to build.
We have a comment though you might want to respond to. It says the progress bar only works when you use you make an untagged checkbox item or to-do item, but you can toggle and show the progress bar like pretty effortlessly, whatever type of task is underneath. Do you want to show just how you can like toggle the progress bar on something?
You can even do like right click and checklist and you have something. And yeah, it works for, so if I have a task, like that will be counted even though it's not a, like it's just a checkbox node. And then you can toggle progress bar to turn it off and on. I don't know if that's answered the question.
I think it does, and it works for references as well. So you can.
Yeah, it works for So task outside, and then I reference it inside. Whoops. And it also counts it.
Yeah. Great demo. Just wanted to make that clear straight away for Marcos. So he wants to keep using the progress bar.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Theo, for that demo. That was amazing.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. See you next one.
see you in the next one, and see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one to demonstrate the next set of templates that we have in the hopefully open store.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, Brage, we got 15 minutes left and a few things to cover. So let's quickly run through what's remaining. We recently released a new feature, which is kind of very cool, isn't it?
Yes, it is one of my favorite features for a while now. It's the model picker that we just released. I'm just going to bring it up straight away so I can demonstrate it.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
just for the people that might, yeah, I'll zoom in quite a bit. This is just for the people that might not have played with it yet. And just, I always use the desktop app, but for this demo, I had to use a browser.
Yeah.
So as everyone knows, you can access Tana's AI in many ways. You can click the little button on any piece of content that will bring up the AI, or you can click space anywhere and that will bring up the AI as well, in addition to just using the sidebar button and building custom commands. But the neat new thing is that when you start chatting with an AI, let's say you've used one AI to rewrite a blog post and you want this to be simplified, and I'm just going to play around inside this draft window here. If I wanted to instead rewrite this, let's say I wanted to use another agent, a model, I can basically just say, I want this to be done by Claude instead. And once I've done this, like once I've run this with Claude, I might want to use a cheaper model to extract something from it, or I might want to use one of the bigger models like O1 to find like think deeply about other issues related to this I should include. And then I'm now using in the same chat different models from different providers, and they're working together to kind of aid me with my knowledge work. So this is, for me, this is a huge feature, and I'm using it all the time when working with AI in Tana. It just saves me from jumping between different model providers.
It's also been one where when we launched AI credits and AI in Tana last year, we were closely linked to OpenAI, and obviously they're a very powerful model provider. But at the time, we didn't really have this bit in place publicly, at least. So now we have, in the sense that you can see the value of using Tana as an intermediary to connect to all these models, as opposed to having to copy paste between models to get your work done.
Yeah, and there's a secondary part to that, which is the fact that it's in your knowledge space has its own like intrinsic value. So like one of the ways I test out when a new model is released outside of Tana is that I have a set of like prompts, and I have different pieces of content that I want to feed to it to test its writing capabilities. How can it aid us in content production in Tana, which is one of my areas? And like that copy paste job, moving like a bunch of different articles and like different background knowledge to the different models, I can now just do that inside the Tana. I can create, and it's not here, this isn't my actual workspace, but like I can create all the background knowledge I need, all the style guides I need, and then I can just test it with the different models in the same place. It's pretty magical. And then once I'm happy with one, I just build an AI command that uses that model, and then I can test that again with new models. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Fantastic. And there's obviously more to come too. I mean, that's the power. As new ones get released, you don't have to go search for them or do anything. You can just, as they become available in Tana, down there to do things with. And there is plans. I think even Taji talked about that at one office hours last year, where, you know, in the future, local models, so forth, all available. It's a very powerful way to think.
Yeah. It's just, as a way of working, it's really game changing. I really recommend people playing around with it.
Yeah, great. All right, let's keep moving. Next thing, do you mind sharing my screen? Let's jump over to just the community stuff. Firstly, just want to say a big thanks for the product hunt launch. We actually haven't had a office hours since the product hunt launch. That was a kind of an epic one, Brage, in terms of the 3-hour marathon that we did. A lot of fun to do. We're looking a little bit more casual now today as well. But just the response on product hunt, just incredible. Obviously, the votes and so forth, important. And I know Olav's talked about this, but just like, look at this. So 576 comments, all the people who are saying a lot of great stuff. And so just again, want to say thank you for that. It was a big achievement. And again, a bit of a start. Not the thing that's front of mind for the team at the moment, but certainly if we reflect on February, this was a big moment for us.
Yeah, it was massive. Yeah.
Great.
Super motivating.
Yeah. Also, with a few minutes left, just want to shout out to all the stuff that's happening in the community at the moment too. Yes, a lot of things going on. I want to say thanks to Darren, particularly, who's been giving some incredible answers to users all the way through. There's the stuff that's working. Guilherme too, very thoughtful answers about how Tana works. So if you're looking for an answer for Tana or want to explore what people are doing, please jump into the Slack. It's a great place to get an answer, but more than that, meet others who are exploring as well, which is awesome. And things like this, the ADHD community meetup. Penny did this with Matt and others. Adam, this month, so they will continue, which is fantastic. Mark has done this thing where he just jumps on Zoom link or a Google Meet, and says, I'm going to be tinkering with Tana for an hour, or sometimes more. So you just get to see what he's doing, see how he's thinking. He's a really advanced user at the forefront, so it's maybe not a beginner thing, but he's also very adept at answering beginner stuff. So if you see that, feel free to jump in. Very friendly and very knowledgeable, part of a member of the community, which is just fantastic. The other thing that's really been a big theme is some of the agent stuff. So Ev did an awesome video on agents, and kind of all at the same time. Lucas put a video out on agents. There's a Tana jam on agents run by Andrew, and also a more recent one on TanaCast, which is a kind of a video podcast that they're doing. These are all built around the new feature that has been released recently on Tana agents. And with the amount of work that Andrew's been doing on the forefront of that, thought we might just invite him in quickly just to show a 5-minute demo of some of the stuff that agents can do. Is he around, Brage?
Yeah, that sounds great. Do you think he'll join us?
One of us is going to know. I think it's going to be you.
Hello, Andrew.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
I will absolutely join you. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
A lot of happening with Tana, so a lot of energy. So I'm trying to radiate it too. So like being the reflector.
Yeah, you've been incredible. Obviously, you are a pioneer in terms of the agents too. It seems to have resonated with you in terms of the capacity and the potential of agents. And every time I talk to you, it feels as though you're reinforcing to me, like, tell the team that this is unbelievable and a revolution and so forth. So not to overstate it, but you were saying it's the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life. No,
yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, but also just you're at the frontier of what can be done with them. So do you want to show us quickly, for those that don't know anything about agents or agents in Tana, what are we talking about?
Yeah, so I will quickly show you the demo. This is the agent that we built with Francis Miller. And I think another part, which is in many discussions missing, because agents are a lot about productivity and automation. But I think in the context of Tana, the big thing is like super interesting for me. It's just like how we're going to distribute that expertise, right? So for example, we had a book forever, we had like a podcast now, we have something like, online courses. But I think something new is coming, and this is the essentially like the glimpse into this. And the Francis designed this framework, and framework designed to essentially help us to become better at critical thinking, to better analyze the argument. And I start playing with it because he shared with me early on. And I obviously went to AI and start to sort of try to prompt the AI to use this framework, and the result was amazing. And with Francis, we decided, hey, we need to make an agent out of it, but not just any agent. We want to integrate it into Tana fully, right? Because the idea here of like, you can have like millions of platforms outside where you can build agents, right? It's not new. But what's unique about Tana is just like Theo showed, right? You integrate agents inside your workflow. And what Olaf mentioned, it's just like Tana is the perfect environment to run agents because it's semantical. And agent would understand the structure, and agent would understand like the context better, and this way it will be better at chain of thought reasoning. So this is essentially the prototype, and the idea. I will show you quickly like the idea of it. So again, the framework is focused on the breaking down the argument into the six elements, six types of claims of facts, claims of cause and effect, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to dive into it really deep. I just want to share you the outline. And based on this, we build this agent, which is the universal for the whole template, and it does many different things. So inside the agent, we have this kind of master system prompt, and there, basically, agent knows about this template. Agent kind of the expert in this template, in this framework, right? So it knows how to apply it, but that's it. It doesn't know anything about the context. It doesn't know anything about like what are you working on. That's all happening with the commands, right? So for example, we got the analysis command, which is essentially like provides the context for the agent for the initial prompt. And it also provides the instruction like how to tackle this analysis of the claim. And just not to be like super theoretical, let me show you how it works. It's, by the way, pretty similar to what Theo showed, but a little bit more complex. I must say that. So essentially here, and by the way, this template is absolutely free. You can download it on Argument Academy and you can play with it. So it just like, it's available for everyone. So now what we can do, here is the my recent analysis of the recent podcast. I'm a huge fan of All In Pod. I listen to it all the time. And recently they got to DC and they interviewed the Howard Lutnick, who is the new Secretary of Commerce. And he was talking about the tariffs a lot, and tariffs obviously like on the minds of all the Americans now, right? There's a lot of like discussions and arguments and misconceptions. So what I did, I essentially put this through the AI, and I collected all of the main claims that Lutnick made about the tariffs. But as you see, it's hard to navigate them. They all over the place. So how about we use our agents to help us with that? So for this, I will just copy paste this into the workshop node. And by the way, here in the template, we got already a few kind of demo articles that you can use, but I'm going to use this. I'm going to use my sort of highlights from the podcast. And I will tag it as the argument, like this. And by the way, this is my test workspace. So there's not much happening here. So now we have this specific argument. Tariffs are a vital tool to restore American economic strength. And this is kind of the main claim that Lutnick is making. And what we can do now, we have this analysis button, right? So let's do that. Let's close this part and let's hit the analysis. And now we got this agent running. And obviously this is like the cognitive heavy lifting. So I use the very powerful Claude 3.7 extended model with reasoning. So it's going to take us some time. And while Claude is thinking, I will give you like a few additional kind of parts of this template. We got all of these claims summarized here so you can view them and to understand them better. By the way, looks like Claude is pretty fast today. Okay, so let's see at the initial argument. It looks like this. You see a lot of different claims, some of them historical, some of them macroeconomical, some of them political. And now we break it down using this argument framework into the 6 categories. Here we have like some supporting claims, but here, this is the most important part. Claims of fact, like something is a fact. Claims of cause and effect, something has caused something. Claims of definition and classification, how Lutnick classifies something, how he interprets something, and how he evaluates something. So this is super, super useful. This is really, really high quality analytical work. But again, we can do it in other environments too, right? We can just create a system prompt. We can create an agent which does that. So now let's go to something that is unique to Tana, right? Obviously, like as Theo showed, this is fully kind of breakable and playable. You can tag those things, right? You can play with them. You can put them into your knowledge system. But I think the huge part is here, which is the structure command. So if I press this, what Tana will do, it essentially structure this particular argument into the, like it embedded into the super tag. And now, when it finished, let's see, it's interesting because this is the less powerful model that does the structure, but probably because of the bigger context. That's okay. It did a good job. So now if we open that, you see now we have this main claim, right? And this is essentially the same as the argument in this case, because the argument originally was pretty well framed. And now here inside, we have all of the claims of the fact outlined for us, all of the cause and effect, right? So now it's much cleaner, right? Tariffs creates U.S. jobs, tariff imbalance hurts U.S., and so on and so forth. So this is the cause and effect. This is the interpretation. So for example, some policies Lutnick interpret as dumb, as being dumb, and some of them he interpret of just like using this sort of more kind of widespread phrases from the sort of consumer culture. So like you see this fully structured, and for every type of claim, there's inside like very cool features that you can use. For example, you can connect cause and effect to the facts. So for cause and effect, you essentially can provide the evidence. Why is it true? And it's again fully interconnected. And this is possible only in Tana. It's not possible in any other environment because only Tana is capable of working with this type of structures and capable of creating this type of structures on the fly with the AI usage. Yeah, so that would be pretty much my demo. What do you think, guys?
And yeah, you've clearly got a very sophisticated system built from your experience and expertise in this case. And just imagine that you're listening to a podcast, you've got a few random ideas, and from that, you've got a very complete and coherent thing you can use for the next step of work or the next step of processing, etc., which is really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and now I can use those AI generated claims as the part of my knowledge, right? So I essentially can embed them, I can reflect on them, I can connect them to the different ideas from the different books and different articles. So they are become like a full-fledged element of my knowledge system. And this is exactly what I was talking about, like how we distribute the expertise. Now we can distribute the expertise through these templates, which are active and which provide you this specific structure that is like super helpful to you.
Yeah. It's really fascinating to see how you've taken like this framework of thinking and fed it to the AI. And it's not just like looking at the data from that framework, it can actually create artifacts based on that framework in Tana. So
Exactly.
that's really cool. Yeah. And I can just imagine doing that for different types of analysis, different types of apps in Tana using this agent system. Really, really cool stuff.
It was fascinating experience. I mean, both me and Francis, we enjoyed so much when we were kind of tinkering and thinking, okay, how this should interface, how that. So we essentially designed this conceptual space, which next moment become actionable, become usable. It's a unique. I never experienced something like this. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's a good experience of reading a book, isn't it? It's starting to feel like a different thing. Totally.
Amazing.
Thanks very much. You've also, I saw today that you had a new YouTube video, TanaCast, about this process of building agents. So we'll make sure we put that up and make it available for people in the community as well. But that's up on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah. But hopefully we can also put it into the description if people want to check it out.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much for coming in, and we're going to keep exploring agents. Thanks for all the work you've done and the exploration to come.
Absolutely, guys. My pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Oh, wow, that was great.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of a sign of the future. The future is here, isn't it? It's
yes, 100%.
Yeah, the William Gibson thing. It's not evenly distributed.
No.
So yeah, really cool to see all the pioneering work that's happening. Brage, I think we've reached the end, and I know what's coming here with our normal sign off, which we need to do. But I just want to personally say something to you. You are going on paternity leave for the next few months, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Well, I can't get 100% away. I couldn't bear it. So I'll still be doing some things. People won't get away from my face on some videos. I'm still working on like a YouTube series and some other things for Tana. Yeah. But yes, I am going away. It's my third baby, and I'm going to be running around, climbing mountains, and being like having a very Norwegian paternity leave. It's going to be great.
Amazing. I very much hope you enjoy it. It's a very important and special occasion. But I'm also going to have to find someone to fill in for you, which is going to be hard.
Who could it be? Who could be my replacement?
Yeah.
Do you have someone in mind?
Plank of wood or... All right, Brage. See, I'm already struggling. You got to get back here.
All right, you'll have to think of something.
Work it out, yeah. But just want to say, yeah, really excited about seeing you back as well. So I hope you have a great holiday and paternity leave, particularly, and yeah, we'll find a way.
Yeah, I might sneak back for the office hours. We'll see, Matt. All right. So how should we end this? What should we do?
There's only one way.
Should we just say bye?
We should. All right.